in places I didn't want it growing. So Nadia here helped me dig the holes, and we brought them in the hoop house. This is feverfew. I never realized how good it smelled until I brought it inside here. Smell it once, Nadia. You like that smell?
Yeah.
Yeah? It smells nice and fresh, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So this will...
It smells a little bit like carrots.
A little bit like carrots, you're right, it kind of does. So we're gonna bring this inside here. I am thinking this will make great filler. It gets little white flowers. It did make great filler all summer, but this will extend the season. Look at all that fresh growth down underneath there. There's tons of it coming up. I'll need to probably move it out of the hoop house over the summer. I think I'll find some new perennial areas for it and maybe bring some more in again in the winter. But it's nice to have, I'm hoping, a good fresh start of this, because that would make a great filler to go in with tulips and ranunculus. So those of you that don't know anything about our farm, Happy Hens Farm has chickens, hens, and our big chubby goat, Kevin. Kevin, hi Kevin. Hey, are you having a snack? Yeah? So we have about 20 hens and I think 2 or 3, maybe 4 ducks. And they are the start of the farm. They were the first things here. And they're sometimes happy. They love to fly over the outdoor fence. Here they have free access to outside all of the time, all year round. But they love to fly over my fence and get in the garden, which they do eat the Japanese beetles, which is fabulous, but they also dig up plants, and that really sucks. Here's my huge compost pile this year. There is, we have lots of established trees, so we have lots of leaves, but we put it right in the chicken area, and they dig through that. They eat the little seedlings that come up, and also poop on it, so they make great fertilizer. So it makes some fabulous compost. As you can see, it's December, so there's no leaves, but we have several really large maple trees. This area is new this fall. I see I got some tulips that or some daffodils that the chickens unplanted, but these are some nice bushes. This area here also is new this year. Some of the calendula, can't remember how to say it, looks like it's not dying. I'm not sure why. This was actually not planted this year, this last row, but I planted early feverfew. It's hardy, so I've just planted the seeds right into the holes. I'm not sure if it's all feverfew. My tags were, again, uprooted by the chickens. This is bupleurum. And this, my chickens decimated. They just took out everything. It's kind of a shame. So the rest of the garden this coming year will have all of this fabric on so that the chickens can't dig through it. That blew out in the big snowstorm we had. We had such high winds. There even, I mean, look at my lavender. They've dug out all the way around the roots. This area here has a lot of phlox, strawberry plants. Need to get in and edge it better. I planted a bunch of lilies in here. There's some lilac, some peach trees, Red Haven peaches, and then this here over on the side is all of my greens. There's snowball bush, there's forsythia, there's spirea. It just looks beautiful in the spring, and able to cut off so much. Underneath there I planted thousands of tulips and daffodils. This area here is not developed yet, but I hope it to be my peony area, and probably also gladiolas. It's the edge of our property. Our property ends at the field there, but there's a good large space here. I do need to keep an area on the very edge to get the golf cart through, because my grandkids, they love to ride around the yard in the golf cart, and that is great fun. So yeah, this should be amazing in the spring. I see lots of little seedlings coming up. I'm not so happy about that. I'm gonna have to do some weeding in there. This area over here was the dahlia area, and this is going to have to be tripled this year. So there's dahlias, there's also scabiosa that's looking really good yet. We're gonna have, that's gonna keep going. That's just great. But this area here was all dahlias, and that all the way to there will be dahlias next year. I might even have to come into this area more. So I'm gonna need to order a lot more compost, because I'm using quite a bit of it, which is great. This has a lot of stuff in it that I think it's creeping something. I can't remember, creeping myrtle. But there's also some lilies and hosta. Hosta makes great greens. This is all that's left of the huge snowstorm we had. This bush, it's huge. I am not sure what it is, but it is gorgeous in the spring, and it actually has some really great cut flower abilities off from it. This currently is my peonies I have planted. Speaking of peonies, I also planted some bulbs in there, just because peonies won't be that big this year, I don't think. But all those peonies I have ordered that are bare roots right now, they can actually be planted outside. They do need a cold period, but I don't have the area started yet, and that takes some time, and time that I am not going to have because the ground is too wet to run the tractor over it. So I'm going to plant them all in grow bags, and then when the area is ready, we'll plant them there. The grow bags hopefully will come either today or tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. It might be Tuesday. This here was an area that was just very much overgrown. It's the front of our house. I worked hard at this year. It's not my favorite thing to work this area. I don't know why. It's just, there's some perennial weed that just grows in here. But I planted, I don't know how many hundreds of bulbs in here. There's a hydrangea, rhododendron comes up pretty. This actually, I can't remember what this is called, but makes some great greenery, as well as the spirea back there. So I try to use anything I can. I used a ton of this holly in porch pots this year, which was great. Have another holly here. Planted more bulbs. Use this for greens in porch pots. Yeah, lots of bulbs in here, as well as these succulent type things, which kind of make some cool greens as well. Look at all these coming up. It's December 31. Hopefully they're all going to be okay. Lots of sedum planted. Ivy. Yeah, anybody need any ivy? I got oodles of it. It's prolific. Boxwood. I cut maybe a little bit too much out of this year. It looks a little bit sad. And then I did some little primroses just for me. They're along there. It looks like we might have shoveled a few of them up. But there's also crocrosamine in here, and it's just a huge plant, and daffodils, and there's probably other bulbs in there too, I'm sure. I can't remember where I planted everything. Yeah, I planted a lot. Then around the side of the house, this is where we went with a huge pile of snow we didn't know where to go with. But there's few that makes an excellent greens and it has little daisy type flowers. Another lilac, love lilacs. This is all a perennial area. It's a huge mess now, and I have something digging a huge hole. Look at this thing. I don't know what dug it, but it dug a big old hole, and kind of sad because I had a whole bunch of delphinium planted along the back there, so that's kind of a bummer. But there's a lot of coneflowers and iris, black-eyed Susans, some lavender with the iris shooting up. That is gonna be amazing this year. I planted a whole bunch more of that as well. Got some grasses, got the lavender. This I usually like to plant with some herbs. Just got one on each side. I have tons of mums planted. We used to be a wedding venue and needed something that was pretty for quite a long time. This was all my perennial area. Oh, another lilac. These are two different varieties, and one comes, and as soon as that one's done, the next one starts blooming. I don't know what this is. It's a beautiful bush. I gotta Google it next year. But it gets these cool berries, but before the berries come really pretty white flowers, and the greens are awesome in bouquets with those little white flowers. Use those all the time. Lots of leaves in here yet, and that's actually okay. It helps keeps it wintering over. Got hollyhocks in here. They're really not great for bouquets, but they make the garden pretty. And then bunches of foxglove. Yeah, they're really tiny. I planted them. They were in a 288 count tray that I got for $5. I was so excited about that. And I planted them all over the place. So I have tons of those. Back there, I have some rhubarb, some coneflowers. It's all kind of dead, but I don't know, I think it's still kind of pretty. There's a bunny that lives around here. He's been a problem. He's gonna have to find a new place. This is just a mess, excuse the mess. There's lots of phlox I haven't pulled. There's some more of the foxgloves, and then it's all bulbs along the front. I got that part all cleaned up, but it actually left a lot of the leaves to help the perennials. It's all iris along the back there, super fun. Then along the front here, it's the back of my house, my back deck. There's some hydrangeas, and a whole bunch of bulbs planted in there as well. The hydrangeas didn't do very well there. I think it might be a little bit too hot. So then we're back around to the dahlia garden. This area here is where almost all of my flowers are planted this year. It doesn't look very big, and it really isn't. It was very manageable. Like I said, I'm more than tripling this year. I've planted, there's at least 90 lilies in here. There's some perennials, a lot more of that foxglove. There's some false indigo. There's some more iris. I kind of plant my perennials kind of close because I'm trying to fill it in. The more it's filled in, the less you have to weed. But these foxgloves grew huge. These were just from that little tray, and look at those things. That was each a tiny, 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 tiny little plant. So that's pretty exciting. I will have tons and tons of foxglove this year. This is stock that I planted a little bit too late, and it never flowered. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it in the ground, see what it does. More foxglove on this side. Whole bunches of it. So I have lots of phlox as well. So that's really fun. And then this is where I plant all my annuals. On a few perennials just because I can't help it. I love my perennials. Dusty Miller is going to make it through the winter, I believe. Snapdragons, they actually look like they're going to make it through the winter as well. If that's the case, I'm going to have snapdragons coming out of my yin yang. Yeah, I have a yin yang. More Dusty Miller and bare dirt. Bare dirt. There's Scabiosa back there. This was status here. A couple of those might actually make it through the winter. We'll have to wait and see. It'd be kind of cool. And then over on the back side, over here, I am going to dig a trench today for the extra tulips that I ordered. Shh, don't tell anybody. I ordered a bunch more tulips. So I'm gonna dig a trench here today so that when they come sometime later this week, I can just pluck them in the ground and put the dirt over it. Yeah, I'm a little crazy. Oh, look at these. These are hellebores. Look at, they have blossoms. They actually are called like a winter flower. So they actually may flower soon, which would be really cool. Another one there. They got a little bit, probably too full. Look at the daffodils coming there. It's December 31, people. I'm not supposed to have daffodils coming up. I got them coming up all over the place. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the tour. I just got back from a walk with my husband, and as you know, earlier I was talking about doing the roadside stand down there, and he suggested just putting signs out there. I want to do the flower flags and then having people come to the barn here and have the door open and have the stand inside. What do you think? Will people come this far down to come buy a bouquet quick? Kind of thinking it would be much better. We are in those wind zone here, and it would be a lot easier to protect the flowers from the wind. So I'm hoping that will work. Definitely going to need a stand, daily stand this year. I have a lot more flowers planted than I could sell at the market. Yeah, so give me some advice there. Let me know. This area here is where we have the majority of our property. It's a big chunk of grass, lots of big trees. But the problem is, I would love to plant here because I would like to put my roadside stand right here. We have a second driveway to our property. So I'd love to put a roadside stand right here by the ditch. And I would love to have flowers planted along here to make it look like we have a flower farm, because everything else is way back there in the back. Way back there. So nobody can actually tell we're a flower farm from the road. So I'd love to plant stuff along here, but we have a drainage issue. I believe there's a drainage thing way down deep. My grandkids ice skate on this, well, on their shoes, their boots, in the winter because it freezes over when there's not snow. But I don't know. I'd have to bring in a lot of soil and figure out, probably dig and find where that drainage tile is in order to grow anything up here. I could probably do something along the driveway, which would help make it look like a flower farm. It's a really long ways away from our hose though. We don't have a lot of access to water. Our hose again is way over there by that big tree right there. That's where my hose has to come from. So when it's dry, this actually gets so dry, it's hard to even imagine now. And this along here gets super dry, especially with the gravel driveway along the side. It's higher along the gravel driveway. I don't know if you can see the slope down into the deep part here. We do have a couple trees, bushes there that do really well. So I don't know, maybe I'll put some of the stalbia underneath these trees. They're always a pain in the keister to mow around. Maybe I'll cardboard over that and some compost and plant a stelby there. That would be really pretty. And it's not too wet there, just enough shade. Yep, that's gotta happen. That's definitely gotta happen. We are on a pretty busy road. We're the main road to a high school, and one of the first roads to get plowed, which is nice, but also kind of noisy. One more area in the back. Again, lots of weeds, but we took this area here, and we have a platform here, and we have a friend that puts beehives here for us and manages them so that I don't have to, because I'm not really bee savvy and not really ready to be bee savvy. Not sure I'll ever be bee savvy. I might just let the professionals take it. Obviously something is building a nest underneath there. That's interesting. But this is a nice wildflower area for the bees to come onto, but then they also get the garden way over there. The amount of bees we had this year was just fabulous. It really helped pollinate stuff. At one point, the sunflowers, there was 2 to 3 bees on every single sunflower. I'm just seeing, I might have to come out here with my snips. Look at these buggers. Those would look really cool in a dried arrangement. They're all dried already, so we don't have to dry them. Just cut them and store them. Aren't those pretty? Yeah, you can find beauty in weeds. Lots of weeds are gorgeous. The heads to Queen Anne's lace. Those aren't quite as pretty to me dried, but some people really love them. I have tons of these things. Look at those. I'm coming out with my snips. I love them. Lots of them. These dried grasses. Look at those. All would look really cool in wreaths. Look at that. So pretty. And it's just literally weeds. It's kind of cool as well. Not quite as to me, but somebody likes it. There's always somebody that likes something you don't. Yep, coming out with my snips. Nothing like a cold or cool winter day to have some fun. This is where our property ends. We are surrounded by field, which for me is fabulous for the flower farm, because guess what? No deer went across way over there to get to my flowers. So I have an area without deer. They live at the trees back there, the trees over there, but they do not live in my yard, and for that I am so, so grateful. It does, however, produce a freaking windstorm. We are in the wind zone. We're on top of a hill, only about, I think we're only about 3 miles from the Lake Michigan. So we get a lot of lake and a lot of lake effect snow. Also this year, along the mid-back of our property, we kind of a parking lot there. It's got a lot of weeds, but I planted a bunch of pine arborvitae and trees. I'm going to be filling this whole area with trees, and a few more coming. But this was my purchase from some of the porch pots, because I was cutting and for lots of greens. Next year I'll still need to pay for lots of greens, but I got to start out of my own. I hope to fill this entire area, mow it down, cover it with cardboard, compost, and just throw cosmo seed after cosmo seed after cosmo seed, batch of buttons and poppies through here, and just have this wildflower look all amongst the trees, that I can cut from when I need to, but also will just look really pretty to weeds. And I'd rather it be pretty weeds instead of not so pretty weeds. So we're gonna work on that. that area over there. I tried doing wildflowers over there. We'll see, maybe next year more of them will come up, but most of it was just weeds. It's very hard clay there, so if I really want to plant there, I'm going to have to bring in a whole bunch of compost. It might happen eventually, but not this year, probably not next. We'll see how the years go. I'm just realizing I forgot to show you a whole nother area of our farm. These are, look, nothing there. Hydrangeas all along the front here. They are all planted this year or the year before, so they're still pretty small. And I also planted all white tulips and daffodils in front of them because the hydrangeas come up a little bit later with their greens. So across this whole front is white tulips and daffodils. This is, yeah, I can't even read the tag anymore. A chase tree. It has really pretty blue flowers on it. This is nothing, it's weeds. With the big barn door, that's where it opens, and try to keep some of the weeds out there because it helps it open. I have some 9 bark and sedum planted in here, and feverfew is coming up like crazy all over the place. It self-seeded itself. 9 bark again. Actually, I don't think I planted bulbs in front of this one. Here I have a little bit of veronica. I usually plant a few annuals in the front here. This is another hydrangea, and I planted lilies all along the front of this. You can see little stalks sticking out, and there's some green over there. Here is where the astelbe and more lilies, and yeah, this whole area here. There's some hosta, obviously. Dead. This is our patio. It gets lights in the summer. It's really pretty. I think it would be really fun to have flower bridal showers out here, where you can make your own bouquets. I should have plenty of flowers for that this year, so that might be something that gets started this year. It's just a nice, mostly shaded area, and a great place for entertaining, a fire pit. This whole spot here has some hosta, and oh jeepers, I can't remember what's all in here, but it's going to get a lot more astelbe. I ordered a whole bunch of bare root astelbe plants, so I'm going to be planting those in here as well. Oh, it has some mums in here. That's just the rock graveyard and some apple trees. A couple of the branches broke because last year we had so many apples. And then around the side here, this I'm super excited about. I planted, I think, 30 delphinium in here. I can never have enough blue purple, especially to go with the orange. My favorite color combo. So yeah, lots of, hopefully they come up. They look a little sad. And then along the side of our corn crib, which is our wood storage area for burning wood, planted more spirea there, and some of these perennial alliums and sedums, and all bulbs. Like, there is hundreds of bulbs in through here with liam and daffodils and tulips and lilies, and then there's some coneflower here, hydrangea, more perennials, hydrangea, some sedum. Yeah, I didn't get everything cut out. That's just some creeping, I can't think of, bugula, I believe it's called. I like it just to kind of cover the ground. It helps prevent some of the weeds. I do get a lot of weeds, obviously. Even though I keep putting brand new dirt on and pulling weeds, I still get lots of weeds. This is a mess of black cap thorns that I have a horrible time tackling. It's no fun. My husband's work barn, yeah, that's fun for him. This is fun for me. So thanks for joining along on the garden tour. I'll give you a tour as the season progresses and a lot less snow on the ground and things are starting to flower. Thank you for joining. I'd love to see you all come stop by the farm this year and pick up a beautiful bouquet for your loved one or for yourself. And looking forward to a wonderful 2023 with all of you. And lots of flowers, lots and lots of flowers. Thanks again. Please like and subscribe down below. And I would love to hear your comments on the farm or also ideas you may have that would work best for me. This is my second year, so any ideas are welcome. Thanks.